I know I said I wasn't going to be negative in this marathon, but like I said, these are first time watches, so at this point it's the realm of unpredictability. And woof. Let me make something very clear about this movie. I grew up as a kid watching the direct-to-DVD sequel, and I thought that one was fine. I enjoyed it well enough as a kid, and watching it nowadays, it's fine. It's nothing more than a convoluted, confusing, but somewhat entertaining television show pilot that ended up going absolutely nowhere. So, going into this movie, I didn't know what to expect. All I knew is that Michael J. Fox is the voice of the main character, and it was an adventure film. Kind of like Indiana Jones, if you think about it. And it's not good. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not good. Let's discuss. What's up? What's happening? What's going on? Welcome back to Animation Station. I'm supposed to for anything empty animation. Welcome to the frustrating, boring disappointment that is Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Look, I didn't expect anything like amazing or stellar, but given how much I love adventure movies, this should have been right up my alley. But it wasn't. Yes, it has good animation. Yes, it feels cinematic. Yes, it has a cool, new, unique art style. Yes, the voice acting is pretty good. But everything surrounding it is a huge problem. The story is a convoluted mess. The plot's somehow even worse. The writing is generic. The characters are whatever. They're characters just to be characters. I mean, I like Kiva well enough, and I don't hate Milo. But the other characters, I couldn't really care about in the slightest. Like, none of them were interesting, none of them were unique, and none of them really made me invested in them in any way. The story is somehow convoluted. Like, convoluted to the point of being outright hard to even remotely try to make sense out of, which I get. It's an animated movie, you can stretch the boundaries a little, but there's a difference between suspension of disbelief and just being confusing. This is confusing. And then the pacing is a mess, it's a slow burn the whole time, and yet somehow still finds a way to drag its feet into absolutely nowhere. At the beginning, starts out fine enough, but is extremely boring. And then when they finally get to Atlantis, we're already almost halfway through the movie, so we don't even get to spend that much time in this new location. And then don't even get me started on the terrible third act plot twist you can see coming a mile away. It literally would have been less obvious if there was just a random guy there, and it's just like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Bad Guy, nice to meet you." Like, it was, the villains were the exact people you thought that they were going to be, and it's a story you've seen done 1,000 times in 1,000 other ways in 1,000 better movies than this. I went into this with an open mind and I came out disappointed. Almost to the point of being pissed off. But it's saved by good voice acting, good animation when it's not terrible CGI. And it has decent concepts and, again, it has good voice acting. But the story and plot's a mess, the writing's generic, the characters all suck, and the final act is an absolute mess. That's all this movie is, it's a mess. It's a complete and total mess, and it's not worth your time. That's why I'm not even doing a written analysis of this one, because it doesn't deserve it. I'm not giving it the super big feature-length reviews that I've given for the past other Disney-Vember movies, because this piece of crap doesn't deserve it. Don't bother with this movie. It is not worth your time. Don't be suckered into it like I did. It is absolutely pointless. Nothing more than wasting an hour and a half of your life. And because of that, final verdict for this disappointment is a 4 out of 10. It may not be terrible, but it's nowhere near good or even passable. This should have been better. It could have been something amazing. But instead, this seemed like one of many, many Disney movies where Disney didn't even try. They tried to make something big and cinematic, and they failed. Because the writing, and the story, and the concepts were not at all well thought out. Had those three things been fixed, this would at least be decent. But instead, it's a below-average snorefest that does nothing but frustrate the viewer. Go watch Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade instead. Those two movies are more than well worth your time in this crap. Sorry, Michael J. Fox, not even the awesomeness of you yourself can save this turd. Heck, even the direct-to-DVD sequel was better, and that was just a bunch of random events strewn together without any actual coherent story. And yet it was somehow better than the actual movie that started the whole freaking thing. Yeah, this is a franchise that's better left buried. Just leave it under the ocean where it belongs. That's it. See you next time for Lilo and Stitch.